Hello and good morning, everyone in the UK, and good afternoon to those of you joining us from Europe. Welcome to our webinar today, which is all about developing healthy grab-and-go options. For those of you who haven't seen me before, I'm Martha. I work in the marketing department at Ulrick in short. I'm going to host you throughout our webinar today. I'm joined by Marlies Brouwer, who is a part of our technical sales team in the Netherlands, and Tom Bull, who is one of our R&D application technologists. Here's the agenda of what we're going to cover off in the next 30 minutes. I'm going to start off by looking at some market insights and key trends in the grab-and-go market. Marlies will then talk through the nutritional considerations and importance of macronutrients. And Tom is then going to speak through 3 concepts that he's developed using our functional ingredients. So just before we start, feel free to pop any questions that you might have in the Q&A box on Zoom, and one of our team will get back to you. There'll also be some contact details for us at the end if you wish to get in contact with us that way. And you'll also all be receiving a recording of this webinar later on today, so don't worry if you miss anything as we go through. So if you haven't heard of us before, or you don't know what we do, we are designers and suppliers of clean label, plant-based functional ingredients. Clean label means that we've enhanced the natural functionality of crops using physical processing methods. And that means that all of our products carry a really clean and consumer-friendly back of pack declaration. And that could be things like pea protein or wheat flour. All of our ingredients have been developed to provide a solution to help with common NPD challenges. And that can be things such as fat reduction, sugar reduction, helping to improve textures, or it could be to stabilize products. We've got a field support team based across the UK, Ireland, and Europe, and they are on hand to help you at any stage of your development process, whether that's creating kitchen concepts, scaling up for factory trials, all the way through to production. And that's to help you get the best out of our ingredients. So starting off with some general trends then, what we've seen in 2023 is consumers have been juggling a lot of challenges. We've moved from crisis to crisis, and it's really shaped the way that consumers now live. So post-pandemic, we've seen an increased focus on health, immunity, and maintaining a healthy lifestyle. We've seen more emphasis being placed on redefining value and maximizing value as a result of the cost of living crisis. Major political and global threats have caused a lot of uncertainty and volatility for consumers. And we've also seen an increased awareness around sustainability and the challenges around the health of the planet. So how are all of these factors influencing consumer behaviours in the grab-and-go market? Well, after the pandemic, we saw the grab-and-go convenience food formats growing back quite steadily, with chilled sandwiches and ready meals growing back the fastest. Popularity for convenience formats is based on time-poor households, and as a lot of consumers remain to work from home after the pandemic, it posed the question, is there a need for these kind of products now? As we're about to enter 2024, we're actually seeing a push towards consumers choosing to go back to the office full time. And that's really working in favour of these convenience formats and really helping to grow this market back. So we're seeing convenience foods remaining popular for consumers for a number of reasons. It's quicker, so it saves time for consumers. It's often fresher than the fast food or the junk food option. It's also healthier because these products are portion controlled and nutrient calculated, and they can provide more options than if that consumer were to cook themselves at home. But with the current economic pressures that we're all under, it is now making consumers question, does this convenience deliver the value in line with the costs? Interestingly, a recent survey conducted by Innova Market Insights found consumers across the entire wealth spectrum saying that they believe health should be the NPD focus, and that's actually ranked above affordability. So it really shows the importance of delivering value to consumers through health benefits. So I've identified 3 key health trends that can be used to add value to products. So the first trend is quick fixes. So time is precious for consumers. Their lives are now busier. They're back at the office. They're back socializing. They're back taking the kids to football. Consumers are looking for quick and simple ways to now meet their nutritional goals. And in fact, 2 in 3 consumers say that they are looking for quick fixes. So we've actually seen growth in the supplement market to meet this demand, but what we are seeing is consumers valuing real food and trying to meet these goals through healthy snacking. So 40% of consumers say that they've increased healthy and nutrient-rich snacks over the past 12 months, according to another survey by Innova. So if we talk about product launches then, we have seen quite a lot of growth in healthy and convenient formats. So we've seen launches of products such as protein puddings, yogurt pouches, macro calculated ready meals, nutritionally complete drinks and bars, etc. And actually a quarter of all food and beverage launches across Europe had both a convenience and a health claim in the past year, which really shows the demand of these products. So the second trend I'm going to speak about is plant-based, and plant-based is a really good route into creating healthier products. I'm sure that you're all aware that the plant-based market has boomed because of more mainstream drivers such as health, but also sustainability concerns as well. 1 in 5 consumers say that they believe a snack that is plant-based makes it healthy. And these perceptions have arisen because plant-based products tend to be lower in fat, lower in saturates, but are also higher in fibre and micronutrients as well. We have actually seen the plant-based analogue category shrinking, but what we are seeing now is plant-based popping up in kind of different formats, such as in snacks and finger foods. And we've actually seen a 15% growth year on year in plant-based snacks since 2019. So consumers are now demanding improved flavours, improved textures in plant-based products, and they're actually looking to move away from imitations and towards more natural products. So that leads me on to speak about the third trend, which is all about transparency in products. So we're seeing a higher level of emphasis being placed on realness and authenticity, and consumers are seeking products that they deem to be natural, and they equate this with being better for them, but also being better for the environment. This trend was actually driven during the pandemic when consumers were in quite an anxious state. They lost a lot of trust. And then after the pandemic, we saw a lot of supply chain issues. So it's made consumers now look at ingredients lists more, look at nutritional labels more, and also trying to avoid artificial ingredients. And this is really driving demand for free from claims and streamlined ingredients lists. So it's clear that today's market is being shaped by a prevailing theme of uncertainty. Consumers are facing different challenges ranging from geopolitical conflicts, pandemics, surging price inflations, as well as growing pressures on food systems. The topics of health, sustainability, and safety have all become interlinked and more influential on food and drink choices. And this is driving consumers to look at products more closely and are demanding greater value from their purchases. So I'm now going to pass you over to Marlies, who's going to speak through the nutritional considerations of a healthy product.
Thank you, Marta. As Marta mentioned, I work in the technical sales team for Ulrick and Short in the Netherlands for the Benelux region. I'll share more information on the role of macronutrients in grab-and-go products, as well as looking at fibre and satiety effects. In the bio of this webinar, it's stated that I have a background in food technology, so I'm really happy with the help I got from my colleagues that have a background in nutrition. I will try to minimize the word snack as much as possible, since at least for Dutch and Benelux people, snacks can be seen as a bad eating habit. On the other hand, if you want or need to eat something in between of the main meal moments, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, then consider what you consume. A Mars bar is pretty tasteful. Only how long would it give you a satisfied feeling? Or a noodle pot around 4 o'clock, nice and salty, and quickly after you'll feel hungry again, since the average pot noodle is lacking nutritional value. Tom will show an excellent example on how to enhance a noodle pot nutrition. But first, let's start looking at the key nutritional considerations for healthy grab-and-go concepts. In these products, you would like to aim for nutrient-rich foods, so products containing whole nuts or fruits or vegetables. And when whole foods are not possible, then try to buy products that are high in fiber and or containing complex carbohydrates. These products will also contain claims like high fiber, high protein, or fortified with iron or omega-3, 6, or 9, for example, in a cereal. In general, aim for products that are low in sugar, low in saturated fat, and low in salt. We'll zoom in a bit further on the macronutrients and their key role in an application, but also in the body. The role of fat in many applications is that it's giving mouthfeel to the body. That it's giving mouthfeel, and in the body, that it's giving mouthfeel and body, and it's giving a stable emulsion. For us humans, it's a source of energy and it's protecting our vital organs. The role of protein in an application is that it can act as emulsifier and stabilizer, where they also can provide structure and texture. In the body, proteins are broken down into amino acids, which are required for growth and maintenance of tissues. It regulates the immune function, and it has many more important roles. Some examples of carbohydrates in an application. First, of course, we all know that it adds flavor, the nice sweetness of sugar, and it can also provide texture. In the body, carbohydrates are the main source of energy. Macronutrients are important for good health and important to get them in the right balance between the three of them. We'll zoom in on the proteins. Currently, we all see on social media and in supermarket that we need to consume more protein. All products contain claims with high in protein. Only do we really need to consume those high levels of protein? Because if you're following a balanced diet, you don't need them. You will get sufficient levels of protein. Of course, it's a nice marketing trick. And when you're adding more protein to a product, it will give more texture. And also the feeling of hunger will be suppressed due to the proteins that have a satiating effect. This is all related to the average consumer. If you're following a vegan diet, then it might be more relevant to look into protein levels and protein digestibility. And luckily, more and more information is. And when we're talking about protein digestibility, quickly the term PDCAS is being mentioned. Protein digestibility corrected amino acid score. This is a method used to assess the protein quality of a food based on amino acids, on amino acid requirements for humans. Complete proteins, like for example, soy, egg white, whey protein, and pork, they have a high to full PDCAS score. There, the 9 essential amino acids are present at the required amount for protein synthesis, whereas the incomplete proteins, like most plant proteins, have a lower PDCAS score due to lacking 1 or more of the 9 essential amino acids at the right amount. And luckily, it's possible to combine different plant-based proteins with each other in order to get a complete protein score. And combinations are pea and wheat, pea and rice, or rice and soy. And if you would like to know more details on the levels, please contact us. Now we will look into the role of macronutrients. Now we know the role of macronutrients in an application in our body. Now we will look at the role of fiber, protein, carbohydrates, and hormones on satiety and fullness. Fiber. Fiber slows down the emptying of the stomach, which means that you will be physically fuller for longer. So food isn't required. It will take longer for you to get hungry, which means that it's less likely that you will start snacking. Next to slowing down the emptying of the stomach, there are also suggestions that there is an increased nutrient absorption due to the fact that food is longer in the stomach. And when you're looking at dietary fibers. There are two different types of fibers, soluble and insoluble fibers. The soluble fibers dissolve in water and form a gel substance, which gets fermented in the large intestine, which promotes a good environment for gut health. Insoluble fibers are not dissolved in water. They do attract water into the feces, and this adds bulk and improves bowel health. For the hormones, we will look at the appetite hormones. The first hormone is ghrelin. This is the hunger hormone. This is what makes you feel hungry and that you need to eat. Otherwise, you will become hungry and appetite will be stimulated, making that you want to eat. Polypeptide YY. This is the fullness and satiety hormone. This is triggered when you have had sufficient amount of food. And leptin is a satiety hormone, which regulates the long-term balance between energy intake and energy expenditure. So, for example, when your body weight drops, leptin is decreased, making your body think that you're starving, which will stimulate hunger again and give the signal to your brain that you need to eat again. The yo-yo effect. Proteins. They have an effect on your hormone levels. And with the consumption of protein in the amount of ghrelin reduces, so that was the hunger hormone, and increases the hormone polypeptide YY, the satiety and fullness hormone. So when there's protein in your grab-and-go product, that will have a positive effect on the feeling of satiety. My last slide. Then there we are looking at carbohydrates. But also here, the distinction between different types of carbohydrates. The simple carbohydrates are easily broken down into glucose, which is released instantly, which means satiety is low and will leave you feeling hungry not long after. The complex carbohydrates are digested more slowly, with a slow release of glucose into the bloodstream, which will leave you fuller for longer. So it's recommended to use complex carbohydrates in grab-and-go products. Now we know the role of macronutrients in relation to final products in our body. Hopefully you've got some ideas on how to enhance your product's nutrition. And in the end, there can be different reasons for grabbing a snack. If it's for conscious snacking or emotional snacking. For the first type of snacking, I've just shared which nutrients and also which products can be considered. For the latter, try to regulate it as much as possible, and when needed, enjoy it with the highest pleasure without feeling guilty afterwards. And now I'll hand over to Tom, who will share how we incorporated this into the concepts. Tom, the floor is yours.
Here's Marley and Martha. Hi everyone, I'm going to speak through some healthy grab-and-go concepts I've recently developed using our ingredients. I'm going to explain each ingredient and why we've used it to give you a better understanding of our products. So first of all, we're going to go through our nutritional solutions. As Martha mentioned, our solutions have been developed to solve certain challenges. In the healthy grab-and-go concepts, we've used our nutritional solutions. So our first solution is Avante for sugar reduction. So our Avante products have been developed to mimic the functionality of sugar. They provide the same volume, texture, mouthfeel, and overall function, but don't provide any sweetness. We then have Delight for fat replacement. Delight can replace the functionality of fat in many applications. The use of Delight ensures good texture, mouthfeel, no compromise on the eating experience. We have Complex for protein fortification. Complex is our range of functional plant-based proteins. These can be used to fortify as well as bind and emulsify in relevant applications. We have a range of crops such as pea, wheat, rice, and faba bean. And finally, we have cilia for fibre fortification. Cilia is our range of functional plant-based fibres. These are high in fibre, which makes it easy to achieve on-pack claims such as high in fibre. And they can also be used to bind liquids and improve the texture in applications. Within our range, we have different lengths of fibre to suit applications. So before we look at going to the concept, we can do a quick poll to get your input. So how are you looking to improve your nutrition within NPD? So the options are fat reduction, sugar reduction, fibre fortification, protein fortification, or alternatively, clean up label declaration. So if you have anything additional to add, you can add it in the Q&A box at the bottom, and you can pick more than one answer if you're focusing on more than one of the nutritional concepts. Give you a few more seconds. Okay, so it's pretty split there. Looking at sugar reduction, protein fortification, as well as clean up label declaration. So now we're going to look at some concepts where we've used some of our nutritional solutions to sugar reduce, to protein, fortified with protein, and also clean up the label declaration. So there'll be a QR code at the bottom of each recipe. If you want to scan that, it will take you to the recipe, so you can have a more in-depth look. So the first concept is within the ready meal sector. This is a healthy noodle pot. As Marlies mentioned, snacks can often be unhealthy and provide short-term satiety, such as a pot noodle. However, foods high in protein and fibre will prolong satiety. Therefore, this on-the-go noodle pot has been created and fortified to create a healthy snack. It contains 28 grams of protein per pot and 19 grams of fibre per pot. It's also HFSS compliant with a low score of -3. So how have we done this? So first of all, with the noodles. So the noodles have been fortified with one of our wheat proteins, complex 18. Complex 18 works well in application as it acts very much like flour in both its rheology properties and its neutral flavour. Complex 18 contains 80 grams of protein per 100 grams, making it simple to fortify the noodles. We've also fortified noodles with one of our wheat fibres, Cilia WF90. Cilia WF90 contains 97 grams of fibre per 100 grams and has a neutral flavour. Therefore, the use of this in the noodles is quite undetectable. This noodle pot has a capsule-style sauce. So this has been thickened with one of our tapioca starches, Synergy L526. This works well in this sauce due to its creamy mouthfeel and clean flavour, allowing the spices to come through. We've also fat reduced the sauce using Delight 9 from our fat replacement range. So this can be used to reduce fat as well as provide a luxury texture in applications. In this application, we've replaced essentially the coconut milk with Delight 9 and water. The smooth spherical tapioca granules replicate the mouthfeel and body of the fat within the coconut milk. This makes it possible to use the fat within the sauce with no compromise on the mouthfeel. The pot has then been labelled with 6 different vegetables to provide a good number of vitamins and minerals. And then finally, the pot has been topped with complex zero. So complex zero is a bit different to our other ingredients. It's a plant-based alternative. It has a texture which is similar to mince. It's been based on legumes and it's declared as sweet looping, grapey, field bean, rapeseed oil, rapeseed paste, and salt. Naturally, it has quite a nutty flavour, but within this application, it's been fried with some spices and it takes on that flavour really well. It's been developed and produced in Sweden, therefore has a low carbon footprint. Nutritionally, Complex Zero is rich in protein and fibre with a PDCAAS score of 61 and contains loads of essential micronutrients. It's also low in fat, saturated fat, and has a low glycemic index, making it perfect for this healthy grab-and-go noodle pot. So moving on to the second application, which is in the bakery sector. So this is a high-protein plant-based caramel brownie bite. This is a really good example of a grab-and-go concept. It would be good as like an alternative to a chocolate bar or biscuit, as it offers indulgence with the benefit of being high in protein and a source of fibre. It contains 5 grams of protein per bite. So looking at the brownie base, first we've fortified the brownie base with one of our wheat proteins, complex 18. To achieve the high protein claim in this concept, we've replaced 100% of the flour with complex 18. Complex 18 works well in bakery applications as it has a similar structure to flour, with the benefit of providing 80 grams of protein per 100 grams. We've also fortified the brownie base with Cilia OF90, one of our oat fibres. This works well to improve the texture as well as boost the fibre content of the brownie. As well as fortifying the brownie, we've made it healthier by reducing the fat. This is made possible by using Delight 6 from our fat replacement range. Delight 6 declared tapioca starch can replace up to 50% of fat in this application. In the application, I've replaced a percentage of the oil with Delight 6 and water. So the hydrated Delight 6 has smooth spherical granules that provide an indulgent mouthfeel to the brownie, which is replicating what the oil will provide. And then finally, we've also sugar reduced the brownie. So this is using Avante B from our sugar reduction range. Avante B, declared as wheat flour, has a neutral flavour, therefore doesn't mask any of the chocolate flavour coming through. Avante B can replace up to 25% of sugar. It replicates the function of sugar, not the sweetness. The brownie is then topped with a plant-based caramel, and this plant-based caramel has been sugar reduced using Avante 2 and water. So Avante 2, declared as tapioca starch, when heated with water becomes very syrup-like and works well for binding. The sugar reduction of this is pretty simple. A percentage of the glucose is replaced with a combination of Avante 2 and water, and this just creates a similar texture to the syrup. This plant-based caramel has also been fortified with celiac OF90, one of our oat fibres, to boost the fibre content. It's quite undetectable within the caramel. The caramel is then mixed with a combination of complex T17 and Rice Krispies. So complex T17 is one of our textured pea proteins. It contains 47 grams of protein per 100 grams and has a crunchy texture and neutral flavour similar to a Rice Krispie. So this is deposited on top of the brownie bite, which is then robed in chocolate, just to finish off the crispy brownie bite. And then moving on to our final concept within the desserts and yogurt sector. So this is a plant-based high-protein pudding. Recently, protein puddings have become very popular as an alternative to a protein shake for those looking to increase their protein intake. Current products on the market use dairy proteins. Our concept takes that idea and makes it plant-based. So our product has 10 grams of protein in a 100-gram pot, which matches the dairy products, which average about 20 grams in a 200-gram pot. For the pudding is based on our oat drink, and this has been fortified with one of our wheat pea proteins, complex 26. Complex 26 contains 74 grams of protein per 100 grams and has a clean flavour, creamy mouthfeel, making it ideal for this application. We've also used Delight 9 from our fat replacement range to declare as tapioca starch. However, within this application, it hasn't been used to reduce fat, but it's just been used to enhance the texture of the pudding, giving more mouthfeel and body, which you would normally get from fat. To achieve the short, crustible texture often seen with these types of puddings, this concept utilises Synergy P. Synergy P is a heat-activated pea starch, which provides a short texture to the pudding. Delight 9 and Synergy P work well in this plant-based pudding, but would also work equally as well in a dairy-based pudding to provide a short texture and indulgent mouthfeel. Then, to make the protein pudding a bit more indulgent, we've topped it with a ganache. So the ganache is thickened with Synergy L526, one of our tapioca starches. This provides a creamy mouthfeel to the ganache. And also, just to make it a bit more indulgent, we've added Delight 9. The tapioca granules give a luxurious texture to the ganache. So that completes the healthy grab-and-go concepts. I hope this gave you some insight into our nutritional solutions and how they can be used in applications. Back to you, Martha.
Thank you, Marlies and Tom, for sharing those insights on what makes up a healthy product and those concepts. We hope that you've all enjoyed our webinar today and you're all feeling as hungry as we are. If you're interested in any of the concepts Tom's just spoken through and want to receive any samples, then feel free to get in touch with us, either through the Q&A box on Zoom or through the contact details on screen now. We'll be leaving this webinar open for a few minutes just for any last queries to come through. As mentioned at the beginning, you will all be receiving a recording of this webinar later on today, so you can either watch it back or share it around any colleagues that you think it's relevant for. Thank you all for joining us today. We hope you all have a lovely Christmas and New Year break, and we hope to see you on our next webinar.